Now, talking about fighter safety, have you guys encountered any severe injury, or so far so good, no injury, and how is the medical facility there on ground during the events? How you guys handling those issues when it comes to health and safety?
Yeah, so no serious injuries to date.
Mm.
I think it's a similar thing to, when you compare MMA to boxing, right?
Mm.
So people see MMA as a lot more bloody, but what people don't understand is a lot of the time the MMA is actually safer to compete in.
Yes.
So I think we see that similar thing in Dambe where fighters are not taking repeated shots to the head a lot of the time.
Mm.
There are knockouts, usually flash knockouts. There can be cuts and that sort of thing from the rope. But in terms of serious injuries, nothing so far. In terms of how we're approaching it, we take fighter safety very seriously. So we have medical staff, ambulance on site at all of our fights.
Awesome.
And that's a first in Dambe.
Mm. Okay.
Like you would have seen Dambe in villages, wherever. There's no health and safety
No, nothing.
anywhere,
Nothing like
right?
that.
Like, so, and it's funny, and again, a lot of the lead is what we take from fighters in that we have an ambulance and Western style medical doctors on one side.
Mm.
And then we noticed that we'd have that. And a lot of the time, the fighters wouldn't be interested in speaking to the ambulance, those doctors. And instead, we want to speak to the traditional doctor.
Oh.
So, and it's like, well, we have to listen and watch what our fighters want to do. Like, so we see that there's a bone setter, for example. So some injuries we have seen are dislocations.
Yes.
Fingers, shoulders, that sort of thing. And that's always happened in Dambe. So you have, at most Dambe camps, you have a bone setter whose primary job is to put things back in place.
Back in place, yes.
So he'll mix up like a concoction of herbs, of honey, of all sorts of things. And the guy's a real master at slipping a shoulder back into place, slipping a bone.
Shout out to those guys. To be honest, I respect our doctors, but when it comes to bone setting and all that, I give credit to those guys back home. They are very good. They do things on point and quickly and good.
Honestly, and it's like, we saw that. I was like, damn. Like, I remember I was having an argument with some of the fighters once, and I'll send you the video just so you can see it. Like, Dogan Aleka, one of our best fighters, great guy, House Kudu, real big guy, knockout artist. He's a great kicker, like a fighter we're very excited about.
You said what is his name now?
Dogan Aleka.
Aleka. I want to ask you about him along the line because I saw like he's like the face of the brand, like not the face, like just like the corner of MMA. He's like one of the major superstar you have on your roster.
Yeah, definitely. Aleka is somebody we're very excited about. He has an exciting fighting style. He is just a sharp guy. Like, yeah, I'm a big fan of Aleka. And so Aleka, he had a fight with Altan Umaru. And Umaru, very experienced guy, more experienced than Aleka. And Aleka, like, this was a big step up for him, like to fight Altan Umaru, a senior fighter in House Arawa. So the viewers might not know, I've mentioned houses a few times. Dambe has a house system. So fighters don't fight for gyms or anything, they fight for a house. And that's based on the state you're born.
Wow.
So these houses go back hundreds of years. And so I think Sokoto sits within House Arawa, and then you have House Kudawa, you have House Kudumada. And what that means is these fighters, this is how you're raised in the sport. So you'll start as a young boy, and as your place in that house will be running errands for the older fighters, doing sort of just boy work for them.
Yeah.
And eventually you'll watch, you'll learn. Okay, they'll say, okay, you can fight now. And so in that, they don't have classes or anything. Instead, fighters are matched on experience levels. So a young fighter from House Kudawa will be matched against a young fighter from House Arawa. And that's how the boys up in the sport. So Aleka was a young fighter by those means from House Kudawa. And Altan Umaru, who we thought was a senior fighter in House Arawa. And we had seen Aleka fight and said, you know what, this guy has what it takes to step up.
Yeah.
And we said to him, we want to make this fight. So he's like, okay, fine. And it's funny because you need to fight in this house system. It runs so deep, right? I could come with $10 million and ask 2 fighters from the same house to fight, and they would refuse.
No. They will refuse to fight. Wow.
Just outright, they won't fight. Like, that's my brother. I won't fight him.
Yes.
And so Aleka of House Kudu, great guy. And he got into this fight with Umaru, and in this fight, he dislocated his shoulder. He took like an awkward fall out of the arena, and all of Umaru's weight dropped onto Aleka's shoulder. The shoulder popped out. So I'm watching this, and I'm like, okay, well, that's the fight over. And literally in the video, I'm shouting, I'm like, take him to the doctor. There's literally an ambulance there, and doctors there. Take him to the doctor and sort out his shoulder. His brothers are like, no. I'm like, what do you mean no? His shoulder's been popped out. I'm like, no. There are house honors on the line here. One of our young fighters is facing a senior fighter of our biggest rival. This fight can't stop here. So they brought the bone setter, who right there and then popped his shoulder back into place.
Wow.
And Aleka is there with his shoulder being rotated back into place, screaming. And I'm like, and they pop his shoulder back into place. He jumps back into the arena, and he goes on and wins the fight.
Wow.
Just to talk about what this sport is. This isn't a game. This isn't something that you can go to the gym after work.
But honor and pride and all that's in place.
Ancient pride, honor, all of these things are at stake.
Yes.
And so it's just been, we have moments like that every single day. So I'm taking it back to your original question in terms of medical. It's like, we have that, we provide that, and we also are very aware of how fighters have been approaching the years before us. So we're introducing gum shields, for example.
Okay.
Awesome. So just in terms of, again, raising the standards there. And we've even had some pushback against that. Like fighters are like, I don't want to wear this. What is this? It's distracting me. So slowly, we have to work with our fighters to understand and introduce them and show them why things are beneficial to them, beneficial to their health, beneficial to the longevity of their careers. And we're doing that. But yeah, we've seen a whole bunch of interesting things on the medical side, but no serious injuries. And a big part of that is matchmaking. So making sure you're matching fighters of similar weight. And we're going to go forward to introduce proper weight classes shortly. Making sure we're matching fighters of the right level of experience. Senior fighters fighting senior fighters, and ensuring that everything's respected and the fighter's health is prioritized.
Awesome. So talking about the weight class, you mentioned something about the weight now. What classes do you have at the moment? Is it just one weight class, or you have different weight classes on ground?
Currently open weight. So currently Dambe is done at open weight. So fighters of the same stature are matched up, again based on experience levels. But I'll have some more information coming out soon on the weight classes we're introducing, which I'll make sure you guys get first. Okay.
Thank you. I'll be taking some questions from my colleague who is not here today, JB Jibril. So his first question is, how do you plan to get the casual Nigerian fans interested in Dambe sports and Kokwa? A lot of people are still this is the traditional stuff. It's not something I'm buying. But from what you just said, just the little story you narrated just got me excited. I was just like looking forward to see Dogo Aleka fight again. I've seen some of his highlights. I posted some on our page. So it's something that is like that. You just want to see more of that. Like it's interesting, entertaining, fighting for honor, for pride. So his question is, how can you get the casuals, the just average Nigerian guys, excited about Kokwa and Dambe sports?
I think the starting point is content. We have invested a lot of time, effort, money in producing what we think is the best Dambe content. this isn't just content shot on phones. This is real content where we're really showcasing what is exciting about the sport. So I think that's constantly always going to be our priority. Also introducing the fighters, personalizing them. So having people understand the personalities, the people behind the fighters. These are all guys with hopes and dreams and families and all of these things. And we're working a lot on making sure that people get to meet the fighters on that level. So that's a big part of that. And I think it's just, again, it's also doing things slightly differently. So we did an event on a beach in Lekki, for example. So for those who don't know Nigeria well, know Lagos well, we took Dambe from the often lowbrow villages it's competed in, and we took it to a beach in a nice park town. So we're going to continue doing things like that.
In the biggest commercial city of the whole country.
Exactly. So we're going to constantly, do that. So I think really in terms of taking it to the casual Nigerian fan, it's just giving them great content which shows them that Nigerian combat sports, our own sports, are exciting and are here. It's doing some key events where people get to see it up front for their first time. And I think that's it. But then it's also, it's not just, we start with Nigeria. Nigeria is our home. Nigeria is where this sport is native to. But we're taking this global. If you are a fan of MMA, you are a fan of boxing, you will enjoy Dambe. And we get lots of people daily saying that to us, like, wow, never seen this before. This is cool. This is different. So we're just going to carry on putting out great content. We're going to carry on giving people the opportunity to understand the cultures, the customs, and just go from there.
Yeah, okay, that's awesome. Thank you for that. His next question is just a follow-up of what you just said now. He said, how are you guys planning to improve production? And do you have any partnership a deal with any broadcaster, like, so that they can showcase the sport on TV and all that? So what's your partnership? Are you working on any partnership deal with broadcasters on the production?
Yeah, we're working on a few things, and I can't go into detail on that, but things are in the pipeline that we're very excited.
Okay.
Currently, we're broadcasting UK TV, Yanga TV, which is available on Sky. So you can watch season 1 of African Warriors on there. But yeah, we've got a few things in the pipeline, a few exciting things.
Awesome. Come on, African!